I'm good. I'm good. It's warm out, so yeah, I can't complain. Can't complain.
Welcome to Talent Month. As you say, you're in your office. Not sure what we're looking at, but it looks comfortable.
I got the air conditioning on as well, so it's cool at the minute. So quite
Fantastic.
warm out today. Quite warm out today. It's 30 degrees, 30.5.
Wow.
So it
And what?
feels like home. Feels like home.
No, well, that's great. That's as good a place to start as any. Where is home? How did you start and how did you come up north? Would you call this Northern Hemisphere? I guess you would, of course.
Oh Jesus, yeah, yeah. You're right. We're pretty much on the other side of the planet from home. From
Yeah.
home. Crazy to think about it like that, but yeah, yeah. So I'm from Australia, and yeah, I moved to Germany about 10 years ago. 10 years ago now,
Wow.
and yeah, it's completely different. Like I'd spent from my early 20s through to my early 30s. I lived in London, so had that taste of Europe, obviously, and that's my background anyway. Like history, like my past is from England anyway. But yeah, so to be back in Europe and the possibilities that it gives and everything like that. So it's good to be back here. It's good to well,
Speak
it's yeah.
German.
What's that? What's
You,
that? Sorry.
you speak German.
Oh, depends who you depends who you listen to. Depends
Yeah.
who you listen to. My daughter's 7 and she's bilingual, and she says my German's horrible and not to speak German, but I can converse and make appointments, keep appointments, all that sort of thing you can do in German. But it's the in depth. I couldn't do philosophy or anything like that. But I think pub conversations I can I can manage, but that's the
If,
limit.
if it's any consolation, I have a 14-year-old daughter who also speaks English, which I do. And she also tells everything I do is awful. So,
Yeah, exactly.
so you
They're
start you started
they're
off
brutal.
by in Australia. What did you want to be and what did you do and what are you doing now on a daily basis?
Jeez, loaded question. Um, what did I want to be? I actually wanted to be a vet. We had lots of Australia. I mean, Australia. We had farms. We had always had animals growing up, and I think I just sort of leaned towards vets, but it didn't happen. My uncle, my older brother are all plumbers or were, uh, and I went in the same direction. So I was a plumber well into mid twenties, I would say, mid to late twenties, and then I had the interest in CAD design through working in high rise in London, and saw CAD operators doing what they're doing, and I thought that was a great other step instead of going in a direction of like foreman or higher that way. I thought it was a really I thought it was it made sense to jump that way because I liked the detail. I liked knowing why things were the way they were. Like on site, you would install, and you would know because of college why
Yeah.
things were, but you would never know why they were done in such a way, designed in such a way. So like with the CAD design, I just felt that sort of helped answer those questions because and then obviously once you start doing meetings as a CAD designer and engineer, as I started ended up being a designer, um, then you start working with architects and other engineers from other disciplines like the mech and electrical, and then you find out why things are designed the way they are because you're working in with so many different aspects of the building. So yeah, I was lucky. I was lucky enough in London where they saw practical experience and your
Hmm.
history as a way of gauging how you design and things like that. Your understanding of design, your understanding of, and also dealing with people on building sites, not just the engineers and architects, but there's also the people installing, subcontractors, GCs, main contractors, and it's just having that ability to really to be able to talk to all different levels.
So there's a
And
number number of things that I'd like to bring you back to is obviously
Yeah,
the importance of an apprenticeship that I'm sure you had to go through as a plumber
yeah,
or
yeah,
as a
yeah,
training and on site and learning discipline. Was
yeah.
that sort of stood to you, I'd imagine, when you then went to do a bit more of the CAD and the design and maybe the BIM and all this, because you had a great appreciation maybe of the other side of it?
Oh, definitely. Like being on site and the practical side. Well, as an apprentice you start off at the bottom, so you have to learn everything. You learn everything as it should be, like technically as it should be, and then as you grow in skills and years and time, then you find quicker ways of doing things, more direct way of doing things. But you definitely have to learn in the first instance textbook ways of install, and then you can sort of like bring your own methods or methods that you've learnt from the older tradesmen, and then you bring that into your own skill set, I guess.
Yes.
But and then obviously being like either the CAD design or being the like a hydraulic designer, um, then it enables you like um, understand and maybe appreciate the other engineers and the architects and what they're bringing, because everyone's trying to make the building work.
Yeah.
So, so I guess it starts off with the architect with their idea, with their vision, and then everyone behind that really has to make that vision work in a functioning building.
So
Um,
when you think, Lucas, about all of your brother and your father and stuff, do they think you've moved to the dark side now?
no,
All
no,
cool.
no. I think in the good weather and when everything's prime, then they're loving what they're doing, and I can understand that for sure. But there's always cold months and bad jobs, bad things, like practices you have to do, like tasks you have to do, and I just think this suits me a lot, because you still get that feeling of watching, and that's what it is. Being a tradesman is creating. It's not, you wouldn't call yourself an artist, but it's definitely creating. You're doing your part to create. And I'm just looking out the window to the big jobs that we're managing at the moment, and you see it at the end, and you've helped create, this whether it be a shopping center or a high rise or residential buildings or data centers.
Yeah.
Everyone plays a part in making this building come to life, really, and they just see that I just play a different part. Um,
Well,
they always.
you went up to Europe, so you obviously are nuts anyway. So anything you do,
Yeah, exactly right. Especially with the long winters. God, Jesus.
so an atypical day. What's an atypical day, or is there one for Lucas in 2023?
All depend. Well, I'm for Moy. I'm a field technician for their projects in Europe. So that's either in the Nordic, kind of like, so Sweden or Denmark, down through into the Netherlands, Germany itself, Ireland. We're in Ireland and the UK. So a typical, yeah. So there's no real typical day. Like I have a couple of jobs here in Berlin, which are, like, they're accessible by car. But if I'm, in my week, I could be looking at jobs in, say, Poland, which we've just completed a project in. It's gone really well, and then onto the Netherlands, and then into Denmark. So
Wow.
it's really just a typical day would be making sure that you're meeting on site, that they've got, they're ready for you, and then obviously the travel. So you're flying into somewhere, you're picking a car up, or you're getting a taxi, then making it to site, and then just going through the site. It's not just it's not just an inspection. It's with the field technicians. It's a lot to do with the personal side as well. Um, everyone's you want everyone to be happy with the piece of the puzzle that they're doing. And sort of Moy has been for a long time has been focused on that support. And they still are. They're very very focused in the support of the projects that they're supplying materials for. And it's not just that. It's not just supplying material. It's the backup and the support and the help with details and everything that goes with the install of the products. So there's no typical day. It all depends on where I am and for how long, and what.
A couple
Yeah.
of things that you've said, and you've woven it into your discussion more than once. It's about people and collaboration. It's extraordinary the way we're never taught that in school, really.
Yeah.
Knowledge is great. Knowledge is wonderful. It's like a muscle. It works your brain like a muscle.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what's coming through with so many discussions we're having for Talent Month, people say, well, that's great, but I have then to work out how to deal with people. And you bring it to another level. You're dealing with geographies and cultures.
Yeah. Well, it is, and it is, and it's. I think it comes up in the challenging things with the role, also like the pluses, the benefits. It's all to do with the different jobs that we have in the different areas and the different people that we work with.
Yeah.
And it is there's challenges in it, but those challenges are what makes it so, I guess, as a position, as a role, it makes it so special.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, we've just finished a project in Poland, and it's the first time we'd used this subcontracting company, the installers, and they're a Polish company. And at the start, there was not a misunderstanding, but it was sort of like why do we need you here, or why are you here, or what do you actually do? And for the companies that we've had repeat business with, both the general contractors or the subcontractors we've had repeat business with, that's understood. But when we start with a new subcontractor, then it is very hard for them to understand why this company comes on and wants to inspect the work or wants to visit or do a walk around. And it took a few visits to sort of like lower their guard, and by the end of it, like a year later or so, almost a year later, it's really catching up with them and finding that they're making sure that they're happy with everything. They're making sure that they're happy with their place on site or how the material's coming. And it's like that is my position, I guess, is not just to see and record the installation of the product, but it's also to make sure that the people we're dealing with that are buying the product, that are installing the product, they're happy with the whole package. They're getting the responses that they hope for. They're getting the material, the support, any details that they're unsure of, or that we may have guidelines for, that they're all supplied. And again, the job doesn't come to the end, and then all of a sudden it's like this is wrong or this is wrong. We maintain regular contact with the subcontractors and make sure that they know that we're there to support the whole process, the whole job, from supply all the way through to completion and finals and finishing off and warranties.
From it's been short and sharp to go through your career from an apprentice right the way through now to being in 6 countries and 6 stuff.
Well, hopefully more countries to come. Hopefully places like Portugal and Italy and things like that.
What it demonstrates greatly is the digital infrastructure of which you're part of. It's not just confined to a region or a location. Find a place that has a smartphone and you'll find a data center either already or in the not too distant future. It's
Yeah.
been good, Lucas. You've given us some real learnings. I like the fact that you ended and started, middle and end, all about people. You know, and
Oh well,
even
it's
that.
it's our business. The materials that is what we sell, is what we provide. But it's, the material's nothing without the proper people installing it. And also, like I said, with the data centers that I work on, the end result not only reflects on the people installing it, but it reflects on us as well. So if the material's badly installed, it can also be like, obviously it's seen as not a great product. So we put a lot of emphasis on supplying the people that are buying the product and installing the product, a big emphasis on support.
So it's great. It's great. And thank you so much for giving us your time.
Oh
Um,
no, thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it.
it's been fun. I've learned a lot. I'm sure the listeners will as well. So thank you, Lucas, from Moy Materials. Appreciate it.
I hope so. Thank you very much, Garry. Appreciate it.